This video will show you how to program reference switching functionality on the ATV212 drive. Now, when we're talking about reference switching, we're talking about the switching of your reference channels, meaning your speed channels, not your command. Your command is going to still stay the same as whatever that CNOD parameter is programmed as, which is your command mode selection. But this is strictly a reference switching in means of a speed reference. Now, there's a couple of parameters you want to keep an eye on. The first one is the FNOD parameter, and the other ones are under your F as in Frank dash submenu. But before we get into the programming, the way the reference switch works is that you have to allow one of your logic inputs that is free to be used, such as you have terminals F, R, and RES terminals, and normally F is a run forward command. But assuming you're not using the R or the RES for any other purpose, you can program either or to act as your reference switching. And what the drive basically does is it looks at the status of that logic once it's programmed, whether it's a 0 or a 1, and if it's getting a signal, if it's getting a 24 DC source, which is a 1 state, then it looks at your second source as a means of switching reference frequency, and at that reference switching frequency parameter logic, if it's not turned on, then it reverts back to the first source, which is the FNOD. So just go ahead and pick whatever is free for you, either R or RES in most cases. And that does matter because the parameter will differ between R and RES. For example, to change the R terminals functionality, you have to go into the F112, and the RES is F113. So we'll go ahead and assume that, let's say you want to use the R terminal for now as a means of reference switching. So to go into the menus to program this function, the first thing you want to go ahead and do is program your first channel, which is the FNOD parameter. So to get there, you press mode from your main display, you arrow down into FNOD. So you enter on that. So FNOD is your frequency, reference frequency for the first channel. Now, depending on what you want this to be, there's 5 options. You have 1 is VIA, 2 is VIB source, 3 is the HMI keypad up and down, 4 is serial comms, and 5 is plus and minus speed. So let's assume we want to go ahead and allow your up and down to be your first channel, so that you want that to be a number 3. Now for the second channel, you have to press the mode from here. Once you enter and you program everything, you go back to your main display, and you want to go up to the F as in Frank dash in this particular list. Enter on F dash. And as we mentioned before, we were going to go ahead and program the F112 parameter, which is your R terminal, as a reference switching function. You can also choose F113 for the RES terminal, up to you, no problem. And you want to go ahead and set the F112 function to a 38 value. 38. So to do this, go to F112, assuming you want to use R, enter, and then hit the up arrow key until you make that a 38, which is a frequency source function. Enter. Now, so far you've programmed your first source, which is the keypad for now, because FNOD is now programmed as a 3. So your first source right now is up and down. And let's go ahead and assume you want to go ahead and use the VIA analog input value as your second speed source. So to program that in, you have to go to F207. So 207 is your second speed source. Enter. So you have some values that you can program them to here. So 1 through 5, just like the FNOD value. So 1 is VIA, 2 is VIB, 3 is the keypad if you want to use that as a second source, 4 is communications, and 5 is plus and minus speed. So let's just say we're going to make it 1 for VIA. So you're basically done programming this particular function. So to recap, what's going to happen is we have programmed your R as a reference switching functionality. With R getting no signal, your FNOD takes over as a speed value. And when R is triggered, then the F207 value is going to take over, which is right now programmed as a 1 for VIA. So this is how you go back and forth between two different speed sources on the ATV212 drive, and with using the R or the RES or whatever logic you would like as a means of reference switching.